turns out. So we have Grasshopper loaded up already, and we're going to just play with some circles for now. So I'm going over to perspective, type in circle into Grasshopper. That looks pretty good. I'm going to give it a radius of 15. It gives us kind of some variation happening. And from here, what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that same circle down, make it slightly bigger. And we want to add lines in between here. And we're going to kind of do like a roof, like the Philharmonic in Hamburg, Germany type of structure. So I want to add some variations within those little kind of cuts. So I'm going to type in area, rotate. We're going to rotate around the center of that. And we're going to rotate the circle geometry, and we're going to type in 200 period. And I'm going to change the angle from radians to degrees. And then from here, we're just going to kind of align this out just a little bit. Just like so. I'm going to tone that down just a little bit. And then we're going to just do the same thing for the bottom one. Put the area into the circle and the geometry. And then this one I'm going to treat as a negative response to the top one. So we can use the same plug and then we'll just put in negative. So they're working similar, but just slightly off. And then later on we might want to move where that outside circle is going to be. All right, so from here what I'm going to do is just type in divide curve. And we're going to type in 15 again, no period. We're just dealing with points now. So that'll be our first set. And we can just copy and paste that down. We don't need to copy and paste the number slider down because we're going to be just working with a single number. Just make sure the lines are correct. And then from here I'm going to type in line. Just like so. There. And so you'll see it starting to kind of get crazy, and we can play with that a little bit later. So obviously I don't want it to be really nuts, so I might tone down the number slider, so a max instead of 1,000 it's going to be 40 degrees. And then so we'll be able to, it's kind of like a camera kind of shutter. Okay. All right, and then from here I want to take those lines, I want to extend them. So extend curve. And I'm going to type in 5 period, put it into L0, L1, so length 1, length 2. Just make sure they're slightly outside the circles that we have. You could extend that as well. And then from here I'm going to type in pipe. Okay, we'll give it a radius to 11 period. And then the end cap I want to have as a circular one, so we're going to put in 2. Now to create the pipe with the circle, obviously. All right, and then from each one of those pipes, I'm going to type in volume. So we're going to control the scale in one direction. So we're going to type in scale non-uniform. We're going to scale the pipes based off each one of their volume centroids. I'm going to type in 0.995, and we're going to bring it down to, let's just do half of what the size in the Z direction is. Let's turn all this off and just make sure we're doing everything right. Kind of pancake them out. Okay. And then the radius, I'm going to bring it just a little bit lower so it's not super chaotic right now. So it should look something just about like that. All right, and then I'm just going to type in move. Just like so. We're going to move it up in the Z direction. I'm going to type in 11 period again. Just like so. And we're going to use that same number, or the same kind of parameters there in a minute. And then let's go to the beginning, just those circles that we were playing with earlier. I'm going to hide our first scaled non-uniform. So those circles we were dealing with earlier, I'm going to lock them together and basically that's what we're going to try to split with. So that'll be our circle, or our ring for our roof structure. Now I'm going to bring that lock way out to the end out here. What I want to do is extrude it. I might actually leave these separate, so I'm just going to copy and paste this vector D or Z and plug in the extrude. That should already be capped, I believe. Right. Yep. And then from here, we're going to do some intersecting just to see what the result is. So if we go over to the intersect tab, I want to do, I think let's try a trim solid real quick. To tell you the truth, we might want to take all these moved ones and we want to boolean them all together. So the union thing we're going to do first. I hope this doesn't slow us down too badly. And the trim, we're just going to trim based off of that extruded circular member. And then the union, we may, or did it work? I don't believe that worked. We might have to flatten the union. See what happens. So I think it's subtracting everything except for the portion that we want. So I think we'll have to, let's see here, split brep. So plug the union into there instead of trim. That should give us hopefully 2 pieces. It's not, so we need to maybe split multiple. Let's just see what happens here. So is that giving us our bottom? I'm not quite sure. So if I click on that, let's type in item, list item, and that's the top. This should be the bottom. That's what we're looking for. Just like so. There we go. So we're getting kind of a cool looking roof already. And then just to add some variations, I'm going to go back just a few steps. Just like so. I'm going to move this stuff all over. And from here, I'm going to type in call pattern. And then we're going to type in to the set multiple booleans, true, false. We're just going to delete that center portion, so it's going to be false, true. That'll give us every other one, hopefully. We're going to have to flatten this. So that's going to be every other pipe. I'm going to copy and paste that same call pattern down. And we're going to delete the true at the bottom, go up to the false, and then we're going to just paste in true at the top. So it's a true, false. That'll give us our other half. Just like so. Okay, and this might get kind of cool or look bad here in a minute, but let's type in our YZ plane, and I'm going to move this stuff even further over. And then from these call patterns, what I'm going to do is type in volume again. We're going to place a YZ plane onto the centroid of the volume, and then from here I'm going to copy and paste where we rotated previously. So take the rotate plug that we had before. We're going to rotate this first set based off of those planes, and then we'll see what's happening there. All right, so that can be pretty cool. And I'm just going to copy and paste everything up, replace that number slider with our original one. We don't need that. Pop the volume into that call pattern. This goes into here. Rotate goes into the second call pattern, and then our angle goes into the original. Let's bring this a little lower so it stays semi-organized. So that's looking pretty cool. And so for the top one, I might do a negative, so we get different directionality. So negative 16 degrees. There we go. Looking pretty nice. And then we're going to replace the move with our new rotated geometry rather. And then let's see what the roof is starting to look like. And I believe our list, we have it wrong now. But if we go to this first one, there we go. Looking pretty cool. Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. I'm gonna tone down the angle on the pipe rotation. Let's just do 11 for now. That's looking pretty cool. And then if we go back, let's try just messing just a little bit with the original rotation. So let's try 5 degrees, bring it down quite a bit. So it's just enough, and we might have to mess with that list item again. It kind of loses it, doesn't it? So I'm gonna go back to the beginning again. Let's bring it up. Just 20 do. God dang, rotation. Okay, let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty cool. That's looking pretty sweet. There's some portions in there I don't really like. So let's go even further. Alright, gotta keep switching this out, which is really annoying. There we go. It's looking cool. So one thing I might do is extend our lines even further. So right now it's at 7.9. Just bring this up to 20. Let's extend it out 15. That's looking better. If we go even further, 30. And let's increase the angle in these. Make it a little bit wild for what it's doing. That's looking pretty crazy. I'm going to tone down the angle again. So let's just do 10. So I'm really liking these areas. I'm just unsure about other ones. So I kind of just like it plain. I think that looks pretty sweet. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that for now. All right, so I'm just gonna bring this stuff over here just for ease of access. And so what I'm gonna do is just type in extrude. And use the same stuff over here. So we're gonna create the roof structure. Delete that actually. Turn this on. So that's pretty tall. We want it to be kind of thin. A little bit thinner. Looking good. And then our original surface, what I want to do, just populate the geometry. Just like so. That's going to be our columns. So those points, we're just going to project them down to the original loft that we had previously. So project points. Those are the points. Our geometry is going to be the loft. That should be sitting there. And then from here, I'm just going to do the extrude. So they're the same. That's pretty tall. I'm going to bring that just a little bit lower. It's a little bit too low. Looks Pretty nice. All right, so those projected points and our populated points, I'm going to type in line again. So there to there. That'll give us some nice columns to go through the space. Then I'm just going to turn on our loft again, just so we can see where it's going. In our loft, we can actually extrude the same distance as the roof structure. Might make that just a little bit smaller. Can't really notice, so 2.35. I can't really notice, but that's fine. And then that's looking pretty cool. I'm kind of unsure about some of these columns are hitting on the inside here. So what I'm going to do, instead of using this particular loft, what I want to do is actually use our beginning two circles that we had previously. And we can actually copy and paste everything down. Basically, I'm going to make the first one slightly smaller. And the outer one a little bit bigger. This is what we're going to extrude. With our roof. Our beginning loft, obviously, we're going to keep as the populated and projected area. And we can hide everything up to that point. There we go. And I'm going to play with that scale non-uniform just a little bit. So that'll give us some more kind of dynamic curves happening here. So if I do 0.7 instead of 0.4, it should potentially make this a little bit more exaggerated. Oop, not that far, folks. Or maybe we wanted that far. So with that list item again, just bring it up to there. That looks pretty cool. Very nice. And then if we go back to our angle, let's try 15. Change the dang list item. That looks way better. Really nice structure. Okay. And then our lines for our columns, I'm going to type in pipe again. I'm going to do a mesh pipe, just so it goes a little bit quicker. Bring down the dimensions of that. So I'm going to do 0.125. I'm going to make them even smaller. Just like so. And then for that floor structure is kind of annoying me, so I'm going to just copy and paste that extrude down, make it a negative for that particular number that we're extruding up. Change that over to here. Take that one out so we have a different extrude. I just want the columns to sit nicely onto here. And then for those columns, I'm going to take down the number of segments on each of the mesh pipes. And you'll notice what happens there is these will start to kind of flatten out a little bit. So 3, I think would be nice, and then you get those kind of nice diamond edges on there. So that's looking pretty cool. All right, and then I'm going to just join those meshes together. Just like so, flatten it. Then I can hide the pipe. And now, for rendering's sake, I think I'm going to add green patches in this roof structure. So to do that, there's a couple different ways. We might take the easy way. So since we're extruding it up, what I want to do is actually, I'm going to take this, or I don't need to copy and paste anything, but I'm going to take this B-rep, I'm going to type in move, just to make it a green roof. Okay. And then we're going to use the same dimension that we were using previously. I'm kind of curious what, maybe we might try something different here in a minute, just for rendering wise. And from here, I'm going to try a couple different things really quickly, just to see if it works. So we're going to deconstruct that B-rep. And if we go to our lunchbox tools, let's see a frame, what happens when we work with that. So that looks pretty, actually we're going to go with that, because that looks nice. Okay, so what's 1 do? 1's not good. Okay. 0.9 looks great to me. Excellent. Okay, and then we want the panel. So I'm just going to type in B-rep. That's going to be our green roof. We hide all this. Awesome. Excellent, excellent. Seems like that's popping up a little bit too far in some areas. Let's see what's going on there. Might be a lunchbox error. It's going to be grass anyway. It'll be fine. Let's see if we got any good views. Seems like we do. All right. So next step, I guess we could just bake everything out as is right now. One thing I'm going to do is maybe instead of extruding this, just have kind of a different material on the outside band here. What I might do is actually take the move geometry, create it as a different material. The extrude geometry just be the edge, and then we'll keep the bottom as a different material as well. So what we're actually going to extrude, instead of the entire B-rep of that cut roof surface, or B-rep, we're going to type in edges. That'll give us our B-rep edges. We're going to join all the naked edges, so everything on the inside and the outside. So join curves. I'm going to flatten that just for safe measures. We're actually going to extrude that rather. So that might be a much cleaner that might be a much cleaner way to actually render this all out. All right, so from here, I'm just going to move all this over once again. Basically, we can start baking. So this is going to be our bottom roof B-rep. This will be the top. This is going to be the sides. This will be the sides. Okay, I'm going to select those just real quick and group them for now. Okay, this is going to be our bottom area, and then our columns are in there, and then our green roof. That green roof, I'm just going to select them. I'm automatically just going to change that to grass, just so we don't have to group it all together. Okay, let's bring Grasshopper up. I'm just going to save this definition really quick. Okay. Right. And I believe we're ready to get rendering here. So I'm going to change the top portion to a different type of wood. The size I'm going to change to, let's do this stucco for now. Okay, and the bottom, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. So I might make it really shiny. This bottom ring, we could have spent more time on it, but basically I'm just going to duplicate the edges and offset them so we have kind of a different material as per rendering. So I'm just going to go out to here, just like so. And then from here, pop that out. And I'm just going to split the two. Okay, that's going to be our stone floor. From here, join all the B-reps. And then I'm going to change that material to stone. Those columns, we're going to just make them concrete for now because we're going to be using Lumion to render. So that's a pretty cool looking thing. Right, I'm going to just load up Lumion really quick. There we go. And let's make a landscape for this. So I'm thinking the center is going to be water with maybe a couple rocks in there. So just like every time, I'm going to just create a bottom surface here. All right, let's make it kind of big. So that's going to be some sort of water. Make it kind of big. We're going to rebuild that surface. 25, 25, let's do 55, 55. Turn our points on. And then we're going to use that paintbrush tool. It's not really giving us enough to work with, but we'll just pull it down then. Okay, so that'll be where the water hits. Kind of want to really be able to see what's underneath there, so that's what I'm concerned with. Basically, let's make some hills. Not big ones. I might rotate them just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to type in smooth. There we go. And I think we lost our little dip. We'll just bring it back. We didn't really lose it. It was there. All right. And then from here, I'm going to split our landscape surface. I'm going to bring it a little bit higher so we have some intersection happening. Take that. Okay, I'm going to change that to sand material because that's going to be below the water. And then from here, we're just going to change that to a different material for the actual landscape. We'll be able to change that in Lumion once we get there. And then from here, put some water underneath there. Just like so. Perfect. And I believe it's ready to get rendered. So one thing I'm just going to do real quick is turn off our sand layer. Because I want to bring the actual structure into the landscape a little teeny bit more so we don't have kind of a hard edge. Just like that. Okay. All right, turn our sand back on. Ooh, that didn't work out too well. Let's see. Well, maybe it's got to be higher. I take it back, folks. Okay, let's turn our sand back on. All right, let's get to rendering. So just take that. We're going to export it as a collada file. Okay. Yes. Go over to Lumion. Wait for this to load up. We're going to go to a white canvas. Make sure that exported, which it did. Wait for this all to load up. We're going to import. Go to where we saved our file. This shouldn't take too long since it's not a crazy mesh or anything. Rename it. All right, we're going to bring it into our scene. I'm going to select it, bring it higher. Make sure it's above the plane in Lumion. And now we can start playing with materials. I'm going to change this to water right away. And I'm sure if it'd be crazy like that, but we'll do kind of a lake water. Let's get our sand done up. Okay. Oop, not fur. Let's do, yeah, that looks pretty nice. And I think we're quite a bit out of scale, but we'll adjust that when we get to there. I'm going to do wild grass again. Might take a little time to load up. There we go. Looking good. This one's going to be grass as well, or we could do leaves. Let's do leaves. Take a little bit. Alright, those leaves might be a little bit too big for the scene. So what we're going to do is just change the leaf size down. I don't want them popping out everywhere, I guess. Make the spread kind of big. Okay. Leaf size down. Okay. I'm going to change that top material of wood. Make it a darker color because I'm going to try to make this kind of a dusky scene. This side stuff, I'm going to make it stone. I don't think we're on any of these. That might be cool. Make this a stone as well. White. This is going to be a flooring pattern. So, I'm not quite sure what I want to use for that. And this underside, I might make it a kind of a lighter wood. I don't know, those leaves are kind of killing me, so I might change those over again too. Got a stone. I'm going to change the leaves to just grass, so it goes straight up rather than going down and everywhere else. I don't want to pop it through the roof. So what I'm going to do is actually just make the grass size a little bit bigger. Length pretty high. And then gravity force. I don't want any gravity. And I don't want any bending. And I think we're there. Okay. So from here, just add some trees out in the distance. I'm just going to do a bundle of trees. Let's add a rock real quick. Actually, it might be in scale, which is good. Hold L, I'm going to bring the scale up. Let's see if there's a different type of rock. That's pretty cool. A little bit smaller one. That's the same rock we used previously. Now I'm just going to select those, bring them down. Bring all of them down. So they're in the water. Alright, let's go back to our trees. Let's do clusters of trees. I'm going to do, yeah, we're a little bit out of scale, but that's alright. Okay, and I'm just going to encompass this whole thing as if we're in a forest. Okay, boom, 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 boom. This should keep kind of the rendering time a little bit lower. Okay, and I'm going to add someone swimming in that water. Let's see if we can find someone swimming. Alright, maybe she's going for those rocks. Oop, a little bit too far. Okay, she looks a little bit big. I just rotate her just like so. Great. Let's go to photo. Let's pick a good view. Alright, now focal length, bring that out so we can get a good portion of this. And we'll see what that looks like. I'll do kind of a night shot. Get dawn. Okay. And one thing we might want to go back to our Rhino really quickly. I think everything should be in the same position. Yep. And from that bottom surface, we're going to add some lights real quick. Okay, so this whole bottom portion here, that's our B-rep. We're just going to populate it again with more points. I'm going to type in 150. We need to change the seed so they're not aligned with the columns. Just like so. I'm going to type in sphere. We want mesh sphere. There we go. U and V, I'm going to do 6, 6. So it's not super complicated. And then the radius, I'm going to bring it really, really low. We're going to put it on the points there. And I'm not seeing anything yet, but we might have to bring up the population. Okay, I'm starting to see them a little teeny bit now. So we're going to have to bring the actual number up so I can kind of see it happening there. Okay, and then I'm going to just join all those, the mesh join, and basically bake them out. We're going to change the material of them. I did it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and then we'll just re-export once again, and then we'll just replace what we had previously. Done. That'll just kind of give it a little bit of extra detail in here. So if we click on our imports, select it, and we'll just hit the update, then we should have lights. We'll be a little bit patient with it. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just go to material again. Now I was going to make this wood shiny, a little bit shinier anyway. We're going to make those emissive. Wait for it to load. All right, and we're just going to do a basic material. Really doesn't matter. Okay, and then if we go over to settings, emissive, make those brighter. This wood I'm going to make a little bit shinier. And glossy, bring it to glossy looks good. And then this floor, I think it's pretty shiny already, but so we'll make it a little bit more reflective. All right, that's all I wanted to do. Go back to our rendering. All right, that's looking pretty sweet. Use actually over here. Let's see. It's kind of tricky because, you know, from aerial it looks really cool, and then maybe it's not so cool once we get into it. I like that focal length too. I hope we don't have a dud here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Another buttressing happening. Okay. So I like it. Alright, camera, let's make sure our columns are straight. And I'm gonna just take a picture of that real quick. I wonder if we sprawl that out even more. Or bring it out. Tricky call, folks. So it looks pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna keep that. Alright, so let's mess with our sun. And the heading. So alright, let's render that out, just see what it looks like. It should render out relatively quick. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. So I'm going to add just a few people in our foreground here, just to add a little bit. All right. Let's see. Bring her a little bit smaller, so space seems a little bit more grand. Okay. They're pretty far away, so let's bring them a little bit closer. Cameras are tricky, folks. All right. Yeah, I'm liking it. I wonder if we add a little bit of rain in there. Not sure if it'll help or not, but let's see here. Got some fog happening. Okay, I might add some kind of scene in there because it looks like it's kind of snowy in this scene. Let's just add some effects. The fog. Yeah, that's nice. As if it's a hot kind of. That's kind of low. There we go. That's looking pretty sweet. Okay, I think that'll be it. And one thing I might do is actually push these ladies over in here just a little bit. Yeah, we'll do that just to kind of finalize this. Alright. Get these people. You might be walking on each other just a little bit too much as well. So I'm going to take her. Focal length in just a little bit. And save that. Let's just make it all relatively super snowed in. And I believe that's going to be the final for today. that's what we're looking for. Perfect. All right. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, thanks for watching. It's been fun, and we made something relatively cool in a little amount of time. Hopefully, I'll do some more over the weekend, and I hope everyone had a great week.